Hey, so I am speaking to you from beautiful sunny Florida, and I was just going to do this video outside with this really pretty background, and it started to rain. So we're doing it right here under the cover. But today's a big day. Tonight is Shabbos, like every Friday night. But tomorrow evening is the holiday of Shavuot, which is the giving of the Torah. So we have a lot happening right now. And this particular Shabbos, we begin reading another book of the Torah, which is Bamidbar, which translated to English means the desert. And yet it's also referred to as the book of Numbers. So anybody who watches these weekly talks, I spoke about something interesting when we did the book of Exodus, which in English is Exodus, because that's what we're doing. We are leaving. And yet in English, in Hebrew, it's called Sefer Shmos, the book of Shmos, which means names. So we have this like weird thing that we have one whole meaning in English and then a whole different meaning in Hebrew. So in Hebrew for this book, it's the desert. And then in English, it's referred to as numbers. So we have the idea of counting, that we count, of recounting, the importance of being counted, and all the ideas within counting and numbers. And then we have Bamidbar, which is the desert. But really what's fascinating is that you can reread that word to read B-medaber, which is like within speech. And when I actually started doing these videos at the very beginning of Genesis and Voracious, it was all about how really the entire message is how to have healthy and proper communication. That's ultimately what it's about, and that's what we're taught to do. And our Torah begins with the letter Bet, which is the second letter in the Hebrew alphabet and numerically equivalent to 2. And also as a word means house, home, that when we really can connect to another, when we can share our innermost thoughts and feelings with another, when we can speak their language, when they can feel heard and understood, when we're truly connecting. And that is our defining characteristic as a human being, that we are speakers. It's not our intellect, it's our ability to share our innermost thoughts and feelings, to speak. We're called a medaber, a speaker. So, medaber is the same word as Bamidbar, which is in the desert and also like within speech. And the first letter that starts this book and this week's Torah portion is the Bet again, is that letter which is numerically equivalent to 2, that we were not created to get through life alone. We were created to connect to another. We were created to count and to be counted, and to make our time and our days count, in the fact that this is coinciding with Shavuot, which is the completion of a counting process from Passover until this holiday of counting for 49 days, and making that time count and all of the relevance within that. So just one idea, we on Shavuot, there is the 10 Commandments are read, and it's a really big thing to be present for that and to hear that. And again, speech, that we are being spoken to, and we're being spoken to because we count, and we need to be able to recount these ideas. But the very first word of the 10 Commandments, Anochi, is an Egyptian word. And, I did a whole video on this actually when I was doing the parenting of the 10 Commandments, but just to recount that idea, it's the fact that we're spoken to in Egyptian for that very first word is that message: I get you, and I know where you've been, and I know your trauma, and I know your baggage, and I know your difficulty. I know everything you've gone through, and I get you. I know you, right? And I can speak your language. It continues from that second word on in Hebrew. But the whole introduction, that introductory word, is telling us the importance of knowing who you're speaking to, knowing how to properly use your speech, using it as a way to really connect and to share and to be understood and to make the other feel understood. and to tie it all up together with that importance of making everything we say count, and having that just connection that comes about, that ability to relate to another. Hey, Rachel, I'm in your backyard. So practically. So with that said, I want to wish everybody a really beautiful Shabbos and a really beautiful holiday of Shavuos. It should just be, a time that we are totally open to receive and to, take everything we receive and be able to only utilize it for healthy and positive and good things, and to give back with it all. So Chag Sameach, have a beautiful holiday, and good Shabbos.